And there's nothing more imaginary than what we encounter in animation and games. It's a heightened reality. You have to know what space you're in and act within that space, recognizing everything in the room in your mind. It's a radio play. You have to know who you're talking to, what your relationship is with that person, and your relationship is with yourself. It all comes out in the voice, and that's the acting part of it. But I guess the seminar is about how to start to get into voice acting. I'm sure we could delve deeply into the acting part of it, but how do you even get to that point? I think a great way to start is community theater, and if there are improv classes in your town, as we mentioned, that's good. Because it's much, I said this in my seminar yesterday, much easier for a director to make your performance smaller than to make it bigger. If you learn to perform in a big space in theater, you can be bigger than life, and then they can make the adjustments, like you're molding a piece of clay almost.
I assume everyone in here, pretty much everyone, has seen Galaxy Quest. There's a scene when Tim Allen is down on the planet when they're going for the beryllium sphere, and the rock monster's coming after him, and Alan Rickman simply says, "What is its motivation? You were never serious about the craft." You know, it's true. The motivation is everything we've been talking about. It's all encapsulated. The motivation is a jewel which encapsulates the entire universe you're living in. And your job as an actor is to polish that jewel and let it shine.
I was directing a film with Mariette Hartley, and we got to a moment where I needed her to fix a problem we had a continuity problem because our other actor, we had a stand-in for him who had not worn glasses, and our actor had to have glasses. He unfortunately could no longer remember his lines. He was elderly, and we had the lines on the wall, but it didn't match the next scene that we had already shot. And I said, "Mariette, could you please lead him out into the garden and take his glasses off as you do it?" And she refused to do it because there was no acting reason to do it. So I had to give her a reason that made sense as an actor to do it. And I said, "You've been married to your husband for 50 years. As a loving gesture every night before you go to bed, you take his glasses off and put them on the nightstand and give him a kiss goodnight. This is the last night of his life. What would that moment be like?" And that was something she could act, something emotional.
That's beautiful.
And it worked out. And it taught me that I learned in that moment that sometimes directing is solving little emergencies. You just have to be able to jump in and accommodate people.
And talk to an actor as an actor.
As an actor.
Yeah.
Which is rare, actually, in this business. I've found, anyway, unless you have a director who's worked as an actor, many directors don't know how to talk to an actor. They know how to tell them where to stand, what mark to hit, and that sort of stuff, but they don't talk in acting terms, so that's where your training has to come in. You have to be able to self-direct a lot of times, too. And I know we keep going back to the acting thing, and it's just, I know it's boring, but that's just basically the end. And as I think all of us have had stage training, that's the absolute base, is stage training. So Dave is absolutely right. If you have a community theater, or if there's a way for you to get into some sort of theater acting, that's the base of it all. Everything else, TV, movies, voiceover, all that stuff comes out of that, because that was the original. And that's going to give you a sense of space, and also there's an energy flow that happens when you're working on stage between the audience and the actors, especially in a comedy. Like you land a line as an actor in a comedy, the laugh comes in, that feeds you, it feeds you to the next line, and the next line feeds them again. There's a real energy flow. Just like when we work together, if we're lucky enough to be working together, there's an energy flow between us. And that's the important thing when you're working with an ensemble, because David will say a line a certain way, and then I come back in a certain way, and then he comes in this way. It's a dance. So all of that training, it comes into play in the voiceover community. I know that's not answering how you get into it, but the way to prepare yourself to get into it is to get on that stage.